what about the marketing behind that? Has that something you thought about?
Our social mission will be to protect and secure both workers.
And the winner of the Creathon series is...
Welcome to Creathon, where aspiring social entrepreneurs test their mettle against a panel of judges. Can their business ideas both do well and do good? Let's find out.
After 2 exciting episodes, our participants are finally ready to face the heat. Let's meet our judges.
I'm Kai, the CEO of Mercuryx. We're a social enterprise that works on tech for good projects. What I'm looking for in the pitch is sustainability. How can the teams generate their own revenue in the long term?
I'm John, Chairman of Runninghour Co-operative. I'm looking for innovative idea with strong social cause. It can be small, but scalable.
I'm Adeline, Assistant CEO of SNCF. What I like to see is passion, because passion will drive the cause and then it will be sustainable.
The first to pitch today will be Team Second Base.
So did you know that in 2020, 137,000 tons of textile was thrown away by Singaporeans? Firstly, we plan to resell vintage retro clothing.
So you can see the first one is upcycled pouches and accessories, which would make up 15% of our revenue, and our cost price is around $5, which gives us a profit margin of around 67%.
And we also want to target an untapped market with sports jerseys, sports clothing, as we also found that sports clothing is a big contributor to textile wastage in Singapore.
So this brings us to the end of our presentation. Join us in giving your clothes a second chance. Once again, we are the Second Base. Thanks for listening.
I'm curious that I didn't see very much about encouraging or awareness building when it comes to wearing secondhand goods. But what about the marketing behind that? Has that something you thought about?
We can see more and more people actually wearing sustainable clothes and second-hand clothes just because they are more aware, especially our generation, environmental impacts, I would say, of fast fashion.
For your revenue projections, how does it translate to the number of pieces you plan to sell in each year?
We did this financial projection from scratch, meaning we count the selling prices, the cost, and how much we are willing to sell them and how much customers are willing to buy them for.
Thank you so much for your time. We'll now give the time over to the judges to deliberate. Please take your leave. So, judges, we've heard from Second Base. Now on to you guys. What do you all think about their presentation?
I like the way they intend to differentiate themselves from their competitors, involving collaboration with community groups, especially the disadvantaged group.
That's very encouraging, actually. Anything else?
Yeah, I think what they could look at is community building, actually. So rather than taking a traditional business approach of selling products, why not build a community of like-minded individuals that could potentially be a cooperative together to then move something like this together, like this initiative forward together.
Thank you so much for your feedback, judges. Let me get the next team for you guys.
Next up, Team Heartbid.
Essentially, what Heartbid is an online fundraising auction site, and we are using this to raise more funds for charities. And this is a mock-up of the expecting. And they can also include items that belong to their members. So you could include, in this example, so when you click on an item like this, you'll get more information about the items, and you'll be able to go straight into the bidding of the page. So over here, you can place your bid for that.
Why did we choose online funding? This is because online funding is on the rise. About 30% of Singapore's fundings are made through online platforms.
And we really hope to have your support to make this happen for us. Thank you very much.
I had a question on the inspiration and how this whole thing started. We could share a little bit more.
So through my experience working with charities, I realized that there are actually many times that people would actually receive donation in kinds. Things that they could be a service or time-based thing, or something that people simply do not want, but it still has sort of a value. Like for example, an antique, and charities will end up always having that trouble of now that we receive artworks or antiques, what are we going to do with them? And when they want to hire an auction company, they would actually have to look for overseas auction providers or auction platforms. And I was always wondering why locally, why can't we actually create something like this, using that knowledge that I have, that we know that auction works, you can actually raise more money sometimes, when you are actually pushing for things, you add on a bit more of story, you give it more value as well. We know that happens. We wanted to be that version of that in Singapore.
Okay.
Alright, Team Heartbeat, you guys have done your presentation. We'll now leave the time for the judges to deliberate. Please take your leave. Alright, judges, you've heard what the team has had to say. What are your thoughts so far?
I think for me, I do like the idea of a platform. I love the story about if they could get an old auntie making soon-to-disappear kuihs in Singapore and somebody wants to bid for it and charity or something, I think that's wonderful.
I think for me, what wasn't so clear was the onboarding of sellers or donors or donate.
Yeah.
And would like to hear maybe a little bit more about that, on how they plan on doing that.
Understood. Well, thank you for sharing your insights, judges. I'll now get the last team for you.
Thank you.
And the last to pitch, Team TCO.
My name is Christian.
And my name is Lei.
And together we are Team TCO. Today we will be presenting on how we can help our foreign friends. I'm actually half Filipino, and this will be important later on. I'm a year 2 student currently in Republic Polytechnic studying Diploma in Business.
And I'm Lei, and I was actually born in Malaysia, and I only moved to Singapore in recent years. So the majority of migrant workers seek employment in Singapore as they cannot find a proper job in their home countries to feed themselves and their families.
Our social mission will be to protect and secure the interests of our foreign friends, both workers and students alike, here in Singapore by forming a cooperative society. We hope to foster a strong community for foreigners, specifically foreign workers and international students, and allow them to feel a sense of security and belonging here in our country. We want to start up a membership-based enterprise that focuses on having direct relationship with our members, who are our foreign friends. With that, we thank you for your kind attention, and we welcome any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So your two identified groups were foreign workers and foreign students.
Yep.
Do you see any challenges in putting these two groups together, because socially they might be of very diverse or different backgrounds?
Our intention was to create separate classes actually, but the solution can bleed over to target both of them.
Alright, Team TCO, you guys have done your pitch. We'll now go to the judges for some feedback.
They started amazing, like pitching the cause, why they're passionate about it. Even the visuals were great, the black and white images, that was great. But then after that, it got a little bit confusing about exactly what kind of issue they're tackling. So I think that's something they can work on.
I'll now leave you to tabulate the scores. I'm looking forward to see who's the ultimate winner. After a grueling day, the moment we've all been waiting for. In my hand, I have the results. Here goes nothing. And the winner of the Creathon series is Team Heartbeat! Congratulations, Team Heartbeat. You guys walked away with the grand prize of $5,000. And of course, commiserations to the other teams that participated in it as well. Once again, a round of applause for Team Heartbeat!
I think they did remarkably. I think that their whole idea is far beyond my years. I have nothing to say about that, and yeah, good job.
We actually learned a lot of things from the judges, and we had a lot of fun from the previous activities.
I think we did the best we could, and I couldn't have asked for another outcome. Yeah, I'm grateful for the experience I've had.
We were last yesterday, so we were really not we had to up our game. And I think the other teams also did pretty well as well in all the stations in the past 3 days.
It was a very fierce competition, but I'm glad you guys made it out. So what's next for your team?
We'll probably catch some rest, have some nice dinner with the ladies, and then of course maybe with the rest of the team, and get back to our campaigns that we're going to run. Yeah.
That's fantastic. We've come to the end of this Creathon series. But before we go, if you're interested in starting a business that wants to do well and do good, you can check out the SNCF website for more details. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!